Welcome to the Big Three, where we get to talk about this week's sermon from North Boulevard Church of Christ here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. We'll take questions and make observations from you, me, John, and this week's special guest, Brian Park.
And it is always fun to be on the Big Three. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of kids running on early. Look just like both of y'all. Really cool. All right, so we did have a big special treat this morning. Shadonke Johnson was with us, and he's just inspiring in every possible way. You know, he's a great preacher, but when he prays, it sounds like he's preaching. It's just incredible. So my quick summary, I did write it down because that's part of my job here is to summarize. All right, there is nothing more important than telling others about Jesus. Focus on the lost. Be intentional about the relationships that God has given you, and step out in faith because we are in a divine partnership.
I love it. Amen and amen. So, based on that highlight, one of the takeaways that I got with that, well, share a highlight from this morning's message, Brian.
Well, you can go first. You're the girl. You can go first.
Oh, ladies first.
Yeah,
you guys are such gentlemen. I loved when Shadonke was talking about how, like, wherever we go, the Lord is with us and He is helping us make disciples in our workplace, at the gym, wherever. Don't limit God. And he used a phrase that I was like, oh, that's good. I'm going to use that one. God is an impossibility specialist.
Oh, yeah.
So the excuses don't really work for us because our God is a impossibility specialist.
All right.
Nice. Awesome. So you mentioned...
Oh, hang on. I thought you were going to comment on hers. I got to comment on hers real quick. Okay. So I love the airplane story because I can totally see it happening. So he's sitting there like he is agonizing. How do I break through and do what you just said? How do I get... This guy won't talk to me. He's watching the soccer game. I stepped on his feet. I've done all this stuff, and I can't get this guy to... So he picks the other soccer team just to get in an argument with the guy. Yeah. It reminds me when some of our guys, Russell and Hunzi, were at Kroger, it's a grocery store, and they were trying to get people to talk to him. They couldn't get people to talk. So Russell just rammed his cart into this lady's cart just so they could have just so he could say, hey, oh, I'm so sorry. Hey, by the way, do you love Jesus? It was a pretty cool moment.
And I love that Shadonke kept going back to the Lord, like, Lord, this isn't working. Like, what's like, he realized that, like, that divine partnership, like, he relied on that because only the Lord could give him that revelation as to the soccer. Anyway.
And not giving up, not just because, I mean, many times, how often do we come across somebody that we had that opportunity and it was because difficult and we just took the easy way sometimes.
I agree.
All right, so what did you come up with?
So you had said when you were summarizing it, you talked about just his prayer. Yeah. And so right off the bat, he mentioned in his prayer, instrument of change. And that just stuck with me the whole time because I just had a doctor scenario with a scalpel and how that even, surgery, how that is, the goal is to heal. And how that we can be put in, especially looking at my work for sure, just being around people that I have been placed there, that I can be an instrument of change.
Yeah, and wherever you are sent to be there. Now, when he talks about change, he knows what he's talking about because Sierra Leone 20 years ago, 6% Christian. 20 years later, almost 35% Christian, and that is largely through the work of New Harvest Ministries. So pretty incredible what they're doing. Yeah, he's changing the world.
Yeah, and I mean, just from his stories, it's not always easy getting water poured on you or chased out with knives. I mean,
he didn't tell half his stories. I don't think. I mean, he has put his life at risk for the sake of the gospel. So have some of the guys that are watching from Sierra Leone. We want you to know how inspirational you guys are for all of us. Thank you for your commitment to Jesus. It inspires us to want to serve him more. Okay, my observation is just this strategy of being intentional about the relationships that God has already given us. Because, we always think, if I'm going to I got to be a preacher, I got to get a bullhorn, I got to stand on a street corner, and I've got to, be telling everybody about Jesus on a bullhorn on a street corner. But the truth is, God's already surrounded every one of us. And the cool thing is, the people surrounding you are different than the people surrounding you are different than the people surrounding me. So we can, if we consider ourselves to be sent wherever we happen to be, then we can share good news with somebody right there and actually, do more than observe the great suggestion. We can actually apply the great commission. So.
And it's not another something to add to our list of things to do, right? Like, it's incorporating it into our daily life. I was just talking to somebody the other day, like, my dogs have to be walked. Why am I not being intentional about having conversations with my neighbors as I'm walking my dogs, right? It's not something that we have to add to. It just becomes part of. And that's that instrument of change, like, in our communities.
Right. And and we live in a world today that people are begging for some type of love, hope, and grace.
Right.
And there, a lot of times society is giving us the wrong answers.
That's right.
And we've got the best news.
That's exactly right.
And should want to share that no matter where we're at and where we go, to let people know that,
help
Jesus
people
Christ
discover who they really are.
Right.
I'm going to dork out for a minute.
Go for
because
it.
our God is an impossibility specialist.
Right.
It can be done.
That's right. There you go.
It can be done.
Right there. In case you ever forget, just look on the chart. All right, so here's the deal. The greatest little phrase I've heard in the disciple-making world is, making disciples is not adding something to your schedule. It's including others in your schedule.
Yes.
It's just that simple. Well, guys, thank y'all so much. Anything else before we sign off here? Guys, great job. Great job hosting today. It's been a lot of fun. Hey, guys, if you have any more questions, let us know by using the QR code that's on your screen. And if you want to rewatch the sermon or maybe watch it for the very first time, you can find it at boulevard.to/sermons. Guys, that wraps up this week's Big Three.
Thanks for being with us. Look for this podcast on your favorite platforms and be sure to join us next week for Boulevard's Big Three.